I want to make part-time work unattractive, says Chancellor of Austria Karl Nehammer, leader of the Austrian People's Party, a supposedly Christian Democratic Party. But what this article actually tells us is, I think Karl Nehammer hates your grandma. In a country of 9 million, about a million people are working part time taking care of their aging relatives. This is a major problem in most industrialized countries that have not expanded the role of care work to be able to tackle with the demographic change that is taking place. Because of very strict immigration laws and people having less children, it means that the population pyramid gets to slowly be flipped on its head with an ever expanding aging population and healthcare systems not designed to take care of the healthcare needs and daily necessities of our aging populations. Nor do we have societies that understand that families, as they traditionally have throughout time, cannot, within this capitalist framework of working all the time, be able to take part in the care work that has historically been done to take care of our elders. But this isn't just a war on people taking care of their elderly relatives. As Austrian political analyst Natascha Strobel it says very concisely on Twitter, the UVP wants to put women and especially mothers at a disadvantage. These are the people who work part-time, and at the same time, kindergartens are just a culture war gag, and there are McDonald's food tips on top of that. What the UVP is pursuing is a program against mothers. And you might be wondering, Rota, McDonald's tips? Yes, Carl let the world know when asked about hungry children in Austria not getting a hot meal, quote, "What about the parents? What does it mean that a child does not get a hot meal in Austria? Do you know what the cheapest hot meal is in Austria? It's not healthy, but it's cheap. A hamburger at McDonald's, 1.40 euros, with fries, 350 euros. Yes, he is literally saying, let them eat hamburgers from McDonald's. He also warned that nutritional charts were basically communism in the exact same interview. Nutritional charts that, as the McDonald's expert Karl Nehammer should know, are on the McDonald's website. So Karl wants to cut pay for part-time workers, reducing their net pay. His plan has three main components. The first one, very uncontroversial, abolishing the overtime tax, which in most European countries means if you work overtime, you actually pay a higher tax rate than your regular rate you would be being paid. I think this is ridiculous. Most people think this is ridiculous. It's not your fault if your employer is making you work more, and you shouldn't be penalized for that. But he has two that are absolutely weapons grade explosive. First is reducing the non-wage labor costs by 0.5% per year. This means he wants to reduce the business contribution towards things like Social Security. And the third one, oh buddy, this one's a kicker. He wants to make it so that through a change in the tax brackets for part-time workers, they will receive less net income at the end of the day, meaning he wants to have a higher tax specifically on part-time workers. And then in a show of peak Christian virtue, Karl goes on to tell us that he's ideologically against property taxes and inheritance taxes, and says that a millionaire's tax, because so many loopholes, would not work, and also if it did work, it would lead to capital flight. And keep in mind, this is only one of their insane ideas about the economy. They're also pitching the idea of a 41-hour work week. Oh, and of course, this increase in hours would not include any increase in pay, meaning you would actually be getting paid less per hour, but working more in Austria. The Chancellor calls this putting the hard working back in the spotlight. Enough about this Ken is the Chancellor of Austria. Let's talk about what his opposition is presenting as a plan. This here's Andy Babla. He's the mayor of Traiskirchen, and he is the leader of the Social Democratic Party of Austria, the SPÖ. And instead of trying to make things harder for you and your grandma, he's actually pitching a bunch of things that could actually make life a little bit easier, like creating community buddies specifically to work with people in need and the elderly to go through all of the official processes the same way you would have mobile nurses, like the right to cash and the ability to make a personal bank appointment. 317 municipalities in Austria do not have an ATM or access to banking, and funding programs for municipalities to get elderly people back engaged with the community, and an aggressive push in healthcare, especially focused on the elderly, hoping to get general practitioners available within 10 minutes of an elderly person needing them, and a legal right to specialists. And when other political parties are arguing for an increase in the age of retirement and also reducing the amount pensions pay out, He is advocating that pensions should pay more and such things that will help all workers, like after the 25th year of work, giving everyone a 6-holiday week, and fighting the pension pay gap between men and women, and putting into law that after 45 years of work, you are entitled to a pension without any of your pension being blocked or taken down. Now, before we continue, please repost, share, like, subscribe, do all the things, and put some comments down there. Thank you. So to recap, Chancellor Let Them Eat Hamburgers Karl Nehammer of the UVP, the Austrian People's Party, wants to make you have higher taxes if you are in part-time work, make you work longer hours, and make sure that you cannot retire until a later age and get a lower pension. I'm not sure this is so good of a good plan for everybody. And then you have Andy Babla of the Social Democrats, who wants to do effectively the opposite of all of those things. And honestly, it feels like campaigns from effectively parallel universes in Austria, but that is the real choice that they have in the election coming up in just a couple days.